Alright, so we're going to look at the interlacement design. Looking at the problem, you'll see that we're going to start with a 2-inch square. Because we're starting with a 2-inch square, I'm going to start with a circle that has a 2-inch diameter. I'm going to start off by clicking on my polygon. That should be underneath your rectangle command if you haven't already selected polygon. I'm going to pick on the polygon and select the number of squares. 4 is default, so I'm just going to hit enter there. Point to the outside of your circle, and that's going to highlight the center on the circle. Make sure that this is circumscribed because we want our square to be 2 inches, so therefore we're going to make sure that we're going to the outside of our circle, and that is the circumscribed. Alright, so the larger dimension for this is 2 inches. We're going to offset the 0.2 as specified in the book. So I'm going to offset to the inside 0.2. Now I have another square that looks exactly like that. It's just rotated 90 degrees. So I'm going to copy this particular square from the center point back to the center point. So I'm just making a copy over top of what I already have. So I'm just copying it from center to center. I'm going to use my rotate button. I'm going to pick on the squares that I made a copy of. It's asking me to specify the base point of my rotation, which is going to be the center of the circle. Now, I'm going to turn ortho off, and I'm going to look at my rotation. So I want to specify and rotate this 45 degrees. So type in 45, and then it's going to rotate those squares accordingly. I'm going to wait till I get to the very end before I go back and trim everything. So now I'm going to do another polygon. The next polygon is going to have 8 sides. So I'm going to go to polygon. Keeping with the circle that I already have, I'm going to have 8 sides. And I'm going to specify the center of the same polygon. This time I do want to use the circumscribe because I want the polygon to go up to that point right there. So I'm going to click that point, and then I'm going to have to offset that polygon, 0.2, and pick to the outside, and that's going to create that last polygon. So now, to finish this up, I'm going to erase that circle, and then I'm going to go into my trim mode. To make this one a little bit easier, I'm going to use the trim all. So I'm going to hit trim, I'm going to hit enter to make everything trimmable, and then I'm going to look at my problem, and I'm going to start getting rid of the lines that need to go away. Oh, before we do that, we have to explode it. Sorry. So we're going to use the explode button and draw a window around everything. Explode everything, so that way we can trim it. There we go. Go to trim, hit the enter button, and now as we point to the objects, we can pay attention to where that X pops up, and if you see the X pop up, then that means it's trimmable. Looks like I have multiple squares under there, so I need to erase those. So back to trim, hit enter, and go through and just look at what needs to stay and what needs to go away, and then work your way all the way around and trim up this as needed. Oops. If you mess up, you can always use the undo button. Okay, so it will step back, but make sure that you don't go too far. If you've messed up, then it will undo each one of them as a whole. If you do mess up and you decide, oh, well, I meant this line needed really to be over here, you can pick on the actual line itself and drag it back over if you need to extend the lines. You can also use the extend command, which does the same thing. You pick the boundary, or you pick the object that you want your objects to go to, and then you can pick the lines that need to extend to that. So either or, I don't really care which one you use. Just know that the grips do go into the trim mode and extend mode whenever you select on it and you see that blue grip.